New Zealand's loss is Australia's gain. P&O goes through another round of cancellations, and Princess gears up for its 2023 World Cruise. I'm Adrian, the Cruise and Travel Guy, and as always, thank you so much to those of you that have subscribed to my channel, and if you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. Luxury expedition line Ponant has shifted its focus away from New Zealand and instead focused on Australia after it was unceremoniously rejected from New Zealand's waters due to a visa dispute. Instead, the cruise line will offer a range of Australian domestic cruises from 7 to 15 nights in length, with a focus on immersive itineraries taking in the coastlines of Australia. Although large cruise ships are still banned here, small cruise ships carrying a maximum of 100 passengers are able to operate, and this gives Ponant the perfect opportunity to allow more Aussies to jump on board their spectacular, all-inclusive ships for a taste of the sea. If you're interested in learning more about these itineraries, you can head to my website, thecruiseandtravelguide.com. Coral Expeditions, an Australian expedition cruise line, has continued with its successful run of small capacity cruising, earlier this month having its first departure from South Australia. At the same time, and as revealed by Cruise Passenger, the Australian government and the Department of Health have finally started working with cruise lines and the industry as a whole to produce a plan for the phased resumption of cruising in Australia. As I've flagged in previous videos, the return of large-scale cruising is really predicated on the success of COVID-safe practices, as well as the rollout of the vaccine and subsequent scientific proof that health dangers associated with the virus can be, if not entirely eliminated, much better managed. In a somewhat similar vein, Royal Caribbean has announced that its Quantum of the Seas will remain in Singapore through to June 2021, offering those 3, 4 and 5 night cruises to nowhere. The success of this cruise to nowhere program furthers the argument that voyages can be undertaken safely whilst being enjoyable for passengers and add to the success of cruise lines. I would love to see this emulated down under, and I firmly believe that P&O Cruises Australia would be best placed to be that cruise line to start trialing cruises to nowhere on a domestic basis soon. The phased resumption of cruising will require at some point a large cruise ship to undertake a voyage with paying passengers. It makes sense that this should be done within the next few months, well before September and October, when Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Princess and other major cruise lines are hoping to kickstart their 2021-2022 summer season down under. And to that end, P&O Australia have just announced the further suspension of cruising in this country through to June this year. Carnival Australia last week made a similar announcement, so this doesn't come as a surprise. This announcement does lend credence to the possibility that the Australian government are not yet prepared to end their ban on large cruise ships in our waters. I expect the government will make an announcement about this in the coming weeks. Provided P&O can reach an agreement with the Australian government, I do see the potential, although slight, that they might be able to return to the waters mid-year. I would like to see P&O become part of whatever trial is necessary to get cruising restarted in a domestic capacity here. Whether it happens or not remains to be seen, and time will tell. In more positive news, to close out this week's update, Princess Cruises have just announced their brand new 2022-2023 cruise program, and it goes on sale on March 2nd for elite members of Captain's Circle and March 3rd for the general public. 4 Princess ships will be based down under, with the Majestic Princess and Royal Princess calling Sydney home, and the Coral Princess returning to Brisbane. For the first time ever, Grand Princess will be making her Australian debut, home ported in Melbourne. I'll be releasing a new video shortly covering everything you need to know about the Princess program release, including the very special Round Australia cruise, the 35-night Hawaii return cruise, and of course the famous 107-night world cruise voyage. Well, that's about it for this week's cruise news update. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so yet. If you'd like to find out more information about cruising, you can head to my website, thecruiseandtravelguide.com.au. If you haven't done so yet, you can give me a follow on Facebook and Instagram at The Cruise and Travel Guy. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Luxury expedition line Ponant has luxury sound like a broken robot. And in a somewhat similar vein, Royal Caribbean this year, the success of this program and This decision does lend credence to what?